My name is Yermaya Dharani, and I want to share some ideas with you on how you can bolster your immune system. And the reason for that is because all of us are living in the middle of a global pandemic. And if now is not a good time to try and think about bolstering your immune system, I don't know when would be a better time. So I'm hoping that some of these ideas that I can share, are beneficial to people, and perhaps it'll make a difference out there. Okay. The way that I'm going to structure this, because there's a lot of content that I want to deliver, and I don't want to inundate you guys with a bunch of content and just really be talking really, really fast so I can get through it. So the way that I'm going to do this is I'm going to structure this as part of a 7-part series. Okay. So we're simultaneously broadcasting on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. So I want to welcome you guys from wherever it is that you guys are joining in. But, it's going to be a 7-part series that we're going to be doing. Each episode is going to be broadcasted live, and I'm going to be doing an episode every day. So today's episode is going to be an introduction, just basically talking about an overview of the program and just touching on some of the topics that we're going to get into in much more detail later on. Now, before I get into it, I just want to say that I'm not a doctor. Okay, these are general common sense ideas that you can implement, right? But if you do have any pre-existing medical conditions, or if you're considering making any drastic changes to your lifestyle, then I would recommend consulting a physician before you do so. Okay, basically, don't sue me if I'm giving you information. So basically, there's 2 things that we can look at. One is prevention, and the other is being proactive. Okay. Prevention, is to do with a lot of the things that hopefully, most of us are already doing, such as wearing a face mask, social distancing. Right now, the preventative measures that we're taking are sort of at a much higher level than they normally would be. So I'm not going to get into the prevention, side of things very much. What I'm going to be talking more about is basically the proactive side, right? What is it that we can do to basically bolster our immune system and make it so that, we can not only survive, but thrive in the age of the super virus, okay? So, there's things that we can control and there's things that we can't control. We can't control what other people are going to do. We can't control things mainly outside of our body. But what we can control is what we do and what we put inside of our body. And that's basically what we are going to focus on, because it only makes sense to focus on what we can control anyway. Okay. So that's what we're going to be focused on, is the side of things that we can control, on how it is that we can bolster our immune system. So without further ado, I'm going to get into it. All right. The first question, that gets raised when I talk about something like this is, can we actually bolster our immune system? And what would be the benefits to us if we were able to do that, right? So I think that, can we bolster our immune system? The answer to that is a resounding yes. All healthcare professionals would agree that there's things that we can proactively do to strengthen our immune system and make it so that we recover, from diseases and illnesses quicker. And also, we can avoid and perhaps prevent becoming ill as often as possible, right? We can't always prevent it, but sometimes we may be able to prevent it if our immune system is strong enough, right? Benjamin Franklin once said that although we cannot control what happens to us, we can control much of what happens inside us. So strengthening our immune system can help prevent illness. And even if it doesn't totally prevent the illness in the first place, what it can do is it can reduce the severity of it and make it so that we can recover, much faster than we normally would. And like I said, now's the time to be focusing on these kind of things, because this global pandemic is serious business, and I personally know people that, have had family members actually pass away, from this. And, if there's anything that we can do to make it so that, we're going to be better off in this environment that we're living in right now, which is a harsh environment with this pandemic, then we should be doing everything in our power to make it so that we come out of this as strong as possible. Okay, so most of the things that we can do, are very common sense. They don't require any drastic changes of any kind, and it just is about having the information and then putting it into practice. So let's just touch briefly on how our immune system works. Okay, so our body is like a bio-powered immune fighting machine. Okay, the way that I explain this to my son is you've got soldiers inside your body that are ready to fight. And sometimes those soldiers need more bullets to wage the war. And everything that you do either helps the soldiers or hurts the soldiers. And that's how we need to look at it. Okay, the idea is that we've got this bio-powered immune fighting machine, and just like any other machine, whether it's a vehicle or it's a tank or anything, it needs to be fine-tuned. It needs to be looked after and it needs to be maintained. If it's not looked after well, if it's not maintained properly, then it's not going to function as well as it would. For example, if I have a vehicle that is a car, and it runs on petrol, but I put diesel in the gas tank instead, it might still run, but it's not going to run as well as if I put the proper fuel into it. Okay. So this is how our immune system works from a very, very high level, very generalized. Okay. Some sort of a virus or bacteria enters our body, either by touch or through phlegm or something that, we inhale or drink. Our brain sends a signal to the immune system that it's time to make more white blood cells, which are the type of cells that react to an infection. Okay. Your body also starts creating antibodies. Okay. And if your immune system is strong enough, it's going to have enough white blood cells and enough antibodies to prevent or recover quickly from illness, because it's not going to allow the illness to spread quickly. It's going to overwhelm it with its own soldiers. Okay. So with a strong immune system, you can recover from minor illnesses in a few days, right? So I'm talking about just the regular cold or flu. A weaker immune system, however, or a body that's immunocompromised can take much, much longer. And, things could even be worse than having a full recovery, okay? So in this series, what we're going to do is we're going to go over 6 actions that you can take to start boosting your immune system and turning it into that well-oiled machine that I'm talking about. So a brief overview of the 6 actions. So like I said, each episode is going to focus in on each of these actions in detail, okay? This is an introduction, so we're just going to be touching on them here and looking at them from a very high level, right? So the first action that you can take is you can take care of your hygiene, all right? So this is something that people have been very, very informed about since we live in a global pandemic. People have been doing a good job, hopefully, of washing their hands more often, and that's definitely something that we can do. There's other things that we can do as well in terms of our hygiene, and we're going to get into those in detail in the next episode, okay? The second step that we can take to strengthen our immune system is we can look after our nutrition. So input equals output, right? They say that you are what you eat, and it's definitely true. Nutrition is probably one of the biggest things that we can do to make it so that we recover from illnesses quicker, okay? Next, what we can do is we can exercise, right? Now, certain exercises are more beneficial for the immune system than other exercises. That's what I'm going to get into in detail in future episodes. Okay, but exercising helps pretty much every single system in the body, and the immune system is no different. Right? Next is rest, proper rest. Our body needs rest to be able to recover properly. Okay, and especially when it comes to recovering from illnesses and things like that, our body needs the rest to be able to do its work so the soldiers inside can keep fighting that war or fighting that battle and winning the war for us, okay? And then step 5 is reducing stress. Stress has a negative effect on our immune system. In fact, it can weaken our immune system and make us more susceptible to illnesses and getting sick for longer, okay? And then last but not least is vitamins and supplements, right? So I'm going to get into what some of the most potent vitamins and supplements are out there that are the most beneficial for our immune system, what to look for when you're purchasing vitamins, and what to stay away from. So basically, to conclude, I just want to say, wherever it is that you're seeing this broadcast, please like, follow, or share, depending on where you see this, because we're streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And I want you guys to be able to be notified of the episode when it comes tomorrow, so that we can dig into this in detail together. We're going to go into each of these action steps, in detail. A whole episode will be focused on each one of those action steps, so that hopefully we can deliver some really good information, that people can benefit from. And at the end of the 7-episode series, I'm also going to be offering a free ebook where you guys can read more about some of the ideas that I've shared. I want to thank you so much for tuning in, and I would just want to say God bless you all, and I'll speak with you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.